Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Abu Dhabi track on Yas Island is now the final race of the season and has produced many dramatic moments when it has been the final race. It is not the fans' favorite track, but it is known for producing the final race which becomes so iconic. The track was created in 2009 and is 5.281 kilometers long and kept its original layout until 2021, when it was changed to try and improve the racing and overtaking opportunities, after a lot of fans believed that the track was boring and produced bad racing. In this video, we will be going into the top 5 overtakes and crashes at this track. But first, do you think this track should be the final race of the season, or should they go back to Brazil for the final race? Before we get into this, we must state that these are in no particular order. First up, we have a very controversial but impressive one, with Verstappen overtaking Hamilton to win his first world championship. This overtake was crucial, as Verstappen had the fresher tires, and he did this move going into the first brand new straight when the track was changed to improve the racing. This move may have looked easy, but under the pressure that Max was to get the move done, it was very big in the grand scheme of things. Next up, we have a phenomenal overtake, and this is from now Red Bull driver Sergio Perez, with his move past Lando Norris in 2019. This was in a spot where we do not really see any moves happen, so it was very impressive from Checo. It was just before going into a chicane, and there was little room for Checo to make the move, so it was even better, especially due to it being in a very unconventional place. Another overtake that happened in this exact same place was Vettel going past Button in 2012, in what was a great move, but also under some very extreme circumstances. This was when Vettel had to make sure he got to get as many points as possible, and this is because the title fight was so close to that season, so Vettel making this ballsy move was great to see. Next up, we have a move that was hard, was on television or talked about, due to the fight for P1 was Yuki Tsunoda's move on Valtteri Bottas to secure P4 in his best finish to date. This was a move that the old Daniel Ricciardo would be proud of, as he liked the stamp and sent it down the inside on the last lap to get a brilliant P4 that is very underrated and has never really been talked about. Finally, we have another overtake from the race in 2012, and this time it's once again from the 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, who made a double overtake after he started in the pit lane. This move once again was vital in him winning the world championship for the 3rd time. Overall, looking back at all of the overtakes, what was your favorite? Leave what you think in the comments below. Now we have the top 5 crashes in Abu Dhabi. But before we can get into this, we must state that every single driver was able to walk away from the accident without any injuries. First off, we have a quite silly one, and this is when Bottas 2019, when he decided to send it down the inside of Romain Grosjean in a free practice session. This resulted in both drivers having damage, which would cost the team a lot of time to fix it, and also a lot of money when it was not really needed. Bottas was at fault for this, as he may have been in a fast lap, but Grosjean would not have known that Bottas was going to decide to try and make a move in a practice session, so overall very stupid of Bottas. Next, we have a triple crash, and it was between Perez, Grosjean, and Webber, who would have a triple crash, and this meant that all drivers would have damage. This was a strange crash, but still, it was a crash which changed the outcome of the race. Next, we have a crash that Michael Schumacher was in when Will Stevens' car would come close to hitting his head, and the car would mount Michael's, which meant both were out of the race. You've probably seen the very famous images of the two drivers laughing as they walked down the paddock after the crash. Next, we have a very silly crash, and this is when Bottas came into the pits to change his front wing, and then as he came out, he would make contact with Jenson Button, which would damage his front wing. This would mean he would have to do a full lap again before coming back into the pits to change his wing, which was very silly between Williams and McLaren and how they handled in the pit lane. Finally, we have a crash in which you may have seen due to the radio message that was said after it, and this was when Nico Hülkenberg was flipped over and was out of the race. Over the radio, he would say that he was hanging like a cow, and it was pretty funny at the time. Overall, what are your thoughts on the Abu Dhabi circuit? Is it one of your favorites, or should we change the final race? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content.